Hey viewers, QuirkyFan73 here, back today with another video. We're coming back to My Hero Academia as we're once again looking at another film that is to me the best of the My Hero Academia film franchise, and it's to me my favorite film of all time. And I am being dead serious, this is my favorite film of all time. My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, which is a sequel to My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, or well, just to say things straight, it is the second movie in the My Hero Academia franchise. So I would want to explain where this takes place in the anime, but if I were to say where does this take place, I would want to say this takes place after season 4 and before season 5. So yeah, I that's my timeline in my headcanon, that's where I put this movie in. But now we're on an island, like the last movie, except on a tech island. We're on a pretty normal, standardized island. And we follow Class 1A as they are doing a sort of internship, but are also being the heroes of Nabu Island. An island that's far from home, and they're pretty much by themselves. But they seem to be doing a very good job. And so, like, nothing can go wrong, right? It's pretty normal. What can go wrong? All of Class 1A is there. They're having a good time. They're having like I said, they're just having a good time. Except for the fact that there's a few villains on the loose. Turns out there are villains that are on the loose. One of them is a villain named Nine, who has the ability to wield 9 quirks, I believe, given the name, but he's mainly going to Nabu Island to go after this kid who has a quirk that could help him amplify and not feel the strain of wielding 9 quirks. So it's up to Class 1A, once again, it's up to Class 1A to defend the island in probably one of their most dangerous missions ever, before the final war arc. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, have said that this is probably the best of the franchise of movies. Well, to some degree. In my opinion, it's a fantastic movie. I believe that it's probably the greatest My Hero Academia movie, and yet again, my favorite film of all time. But why do I think it is? To me, this is the ultimate superhero movie. And I'm not talking about Avengers, DC. I'm mainly talking about how it manages to be a superhero movie, but at the same time carry a lot of weight and a lot of emotion with compelling characters. All of Class 1A really gets to shine, and I think that's probably why I love this movie. I love it because Class 1A, this is clearly a Class 1A movie. You get to see them all have their time to shine, and you get to see how they have various arcs. The only people I can think of that have that arc are people like Shoto, Yuga, Oyama, Tokiyami, and, of course, Ida. I think everyone here really does have their time to shine in this movie, and you really get to see that in this movie. You get to see how they actually have to struggle with fighting without the aid of pro heroes. And in the case for Deku and Bakugo, this is clearly their movie, and I think that's why I enjoy this movie too. This is more of a Deku and Bakugo story, where we get to see the two rely on one another and work together in order to not only save this island, but the entire world possibly, and it leads to one of my favorite fights of all time. But we're getting far ahead of ourselves. Now, what about the two new characters? The two new characters in this movie are a boy and a girl, and I swear I cannot remember their name. Like, to the top of my head, I cannot remember their name. But they're really good characters. I especially love the little boy character. The boy character really does get to do a lot and resonates with Deku. And I just also love how Deku is able to keep this boy's dream alive, able to motivate him to become a hero. And I think that's why I say that he's probably one of the greatest characters in all of fiction or in anime, because he's able to inspire those just the same way that All Might did. And that's pretty much what he wants to do. It was never about being the number one hero. It was never about being just the greatest superhero. It was just him just doing his best. That's why he calls himself Deku, the hero who does his best. Now, what about the villains? Well, honestly, I think the villains are actually really great. Mostly. Some of them don't really have an arc or they don't really go into full in depth, but I do really love Nine. Nine is a very great villain, and you get to see him be an absolute bastard of a villain. He doesn't even care if he tries to kill a kid or like he's willing to go as far to kill a kid. So you just feel so much and you really wish that he gets his comeuppance, and he does in a different way. Now, what I also love about this movie is that the animation. Yet again, Bones does a lot with this animation. I think it is very great. And at its peak, it's really great. Yet again, this was like in between season 4 and season 5, so this was like when the anime was slowly diminishing with its animation quality. But still, I still say the 4th season's still really great. I will never say it's bad. So I think the animation's still great, and for this movie, it really does shine. The music is also really good too. We do get a few remixes of a few musical notes or songs from the anime, but I do actually still like the music in this movie, especially one that really gets me up and really gives me a little tear. Now, what else do I love about this movie? I mean, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to skip ahead right towards the final battle, because the final battle is my favorite fight of all time. Screw Goku versus Jiren. Screw even All Might versus All For One. This is the fight of my life. Deku and Bakugo versus Nine is probably the top 10 anime fights of all time. I don't not care what people say, because it handles its raw emotion and it shows clearly how willing Izuku was able to go to save just 2 kids and an entire island. I know a lot of people really don't like how in the ending he loses One For All. Spoilers. But when you really think about it, he was always meant to lose One For All. The movie clearly shows that he was always supposed to lose One For All, and it was even stated by Horikoshi that this movie entirely was just a scrapped ending. That's right, this entire movie was originally going to be the finale of My Hero Academia. That's how fucking great it is, and that's how fucking spectacular it is to go from a scrapped ending to a literal fucking movie. And the soundtrack, Might Plus You, or Might You, there are no words. It is clearly the greatest soundtrack in My Hero Academia, right next to Avengers and You Say Run. It is a beautiful score, and I legitimately started crying. When I saw this, I was bawling my eyes out, because I was on the edge of my seat, and you can clearly tell how far both Deku and Bakugo were willing to do everything in their power to stop this dude from literally destroying an island where there are people here, and they care for these people. They do not want these people to die. And I think that's also another reason why I love this movie too. The reason why I say this is the ultimate superhero movie is because outside of a full climax battle, you get what superheroes do, help people. The first 10 minutes is why I love this movie, because heroes, well, you get to see these kids actually do what they love. You get to see them do what they want to do. You see them help people. You see them doing their best. You see them do what they want to do when they get older. That's why I love this movie, because it shows us the best thing ever. That's why it reminds me a lot of the montage in Spider-Man Homecoming, where we get to see Spider-Man do just friendly neighborhood stuff. And that's what I love to see, and I want to see in superhero movies. Just not fighting gods or not fighting titans, just helping people. It's simple as that. Why can't I just have a simple thing like that in a movie rather than full action and just fighting to save the world? So I've been pretty much praising this movie. I've been praising it. I've been loving it. I love the characters. I love the fights. I love the music. I love the animation. Is there anything that really does hold this movie back? Honestly, there's only one, and that's sort of a nitpick of mine. Well, actually two. The first is this Hawks plot line basically you also follow Hawks, who is is pretty much being a detective, trying to solve the case of these villains, including Nine. And it really doesn't really go anywhere because it just, it does kind of pause the story a little bit, but it doesn't really go anywhere besides that. The other thing I don't really like about this movie, and this is sort of a nitpick, is that clearly it shows that these movies do not need the League of Villains. Every movie does not feature the League of Villains. They're only mentioned like once or twice. That's pretty much it. They are never mentioned in these movies. And I guess that's sort of a nitpick. I can understand why people don't really love these movies. They don't really focus on the main villains. But hey, Inuyasha did the same thing. So that's pretty much all I have about my nitpicks on this movie. I get why people don't love this movie. I get why people praise the third movie. And I get why many people think that this is probably not the best, but the second best movie in the franchise. But geez, I don't care, man. This movie's still great. Filled with great characters, filled with great animation, great music, a fantastic final battle to boot, and probably some very emotionally complex characters. I still think My Hero Academia Heroes Rising is still my favorite film of all time. Sure, it's weird to say that an anime movie is my favorite film of all time, but that doesn't mean it's bad, because it shows that I can love all of a variety of media, whether it's foreign films, Japanese films, hell, even fucking Bollywood films, which I do not love Bollywood films, but it shows that I can love a large variety of different things in media. And it's not like I'm forced to like it. It's not like I'm forced to enjoy it. So that's why I say that, in my opinion, this is my favorite film of all time. And it's the one that really hooks me well emotionally. So, in my opinion, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising is the best out of the franchise and deserves a great 10 out of 10. Fantastic movie and an epic masterpiece. Now, the next time, we're going to be covering the third film, My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. And I'm not a huge fan of that movie in the slightest. I'll explain more when we get there, but this is Quirky Fan 73, signing off.